My dear child, stop for a moment. Put down whatever is in your hands and turn your whole heart toward me. Because what I am about to tell you is very important. This is not a small message. It did not happen by accident. Right now, you are standing closer to a wrong path than you think. If you walk past these words without truly listening, the days ahead may bring pain that you did not have to feel. So stay with me all the way to the end, because I am about to show you something that has been quietly stealing your peace. Please do not stop reading halfway through. Do not push this feeling away. If something inside you feels stirred right now, that feeling is real and it matters. This is your moment. This is your warning. This is your mercy. This is your chance to choose differently before things get harder and heavier. Come closer, my child, and listen with your heart, not just your ears. I am not saying this because I am angry with you. I am not trying to scare you or shame you. I am speaking like this because I love you too much to stay silent while you walk near something that could hurt you again. You may feel like today is just another normal day, another normal choice, another tiring problem to carry. But I see further than what is right in front of you. I see what your eyes cannot see yet. I see the truth behind feelings you keep trying to brush aside. You keep telling yourself it's just stress, just too much thinking, just a heavy mood that will pass on its own. But somewhere deep inside, you already know something is not right. Your peace has been disturbed, and there is a reason for that disturbance. That tight feeling in your chest, that restless feeling that follows you around, even when everything outside looks calm and quiet. That strange ache that shows up when you think about going back to something or doing something you already know is not good for you. None of that is random. None of it is meaningless. I have been trying to reach you gently because I know how tired your heart has been and how much you have been carrying without anyone fully understanding. You have held so much for so long that sometimes you confuse simply surviving with being wise. You have learned how to keep going while hurting on the inside. You have learned how to smile for others while something inside you quietly asks for help. Because of this, you have gotten used to ignoring the small warning signs your heart sends you. But today, I am asking you not to ignore this one. I am asking you to slow down, just for a moment, and let my voice reach past all the noise around you. You don't need to be afraid of me. I am not here to make you feel guilty or small. I am here because I have seen every quiet battle you have fought alone. I have seen how hard you tried to hold yourself together when no one else even knew how close you were to falling apart inside. I have seen you smile for others while feeling lost within yourself. I have seen the choices you made when you felt lonely and unseen. I have seen the things you accepted simply because your heart was starving for some kind of comfort. I understand why you did those things. I understand why certain things are still hard for you to let go of. I know why some doors are harder for you to close, even when they keep hurting you again and again. That is why I am speaking to you now, gently but clearly. Please don't mistake my warning for rejection. I am not trying to take your happiness away from you. I am trying to protect a part of your heart that is still healing underneath. Some wounds may look closed on the outside, but deep down, they are still tender and easily reopened. You have grown stronger, yes, but being strong does not mean you should walk back into the very thing that once broke you. Sometimes you think that, because you survived something once, you can handle it again without harm. But true wisdom is not about how much pain you can survive. True wisdom is shown in what you finally choose never to touch again. I want you to really understand this, not as a harsh rule, but as words from someone who loves you deeply and wants to keep you safe from repeating old pain. Needing a warning does not make you weak. It means you are loved enough to be warned before it's too late. Being told to be careful does not mean you are failing at life. It means someone is watching over you, guarding you, reminding you that your life means too much to stay silent, while danger hides behind something familiar, something attractive, or something that simply feels emotionally convincing in the moment. My child, every video on this channel is created with love, faith, and dedication to sharing God's Word. If these messages inspire and encourage you, you can support our mission through PayPal links in the description and pinned comment. Thank you for being part of this journey. Beloved child, I know you have been searching for answers. I know you have wanted peace so badly. I know you have wanted relief from all the pressure that has been building up inside you for a long time. But relief that comes from the wrong place always carries a hidden price. And I refuse to stay quiet and simply watch you pay for that relief with your peace, your clear thinking, and the purpose I have placed inside you, when I can still reach you before you walk too far down that road. So do not let your heart grow hard against this warning. Let it sit with you for a while. Let it slow your steps down. Let it bring to the surface what you have been avoiding for too long. This moment is not about frightening you. This moment is about loving you enough to step in before regret has to teach you the same lesson my voice is trying to teach you right now, gently and early. You have asked before why I don't stop you more forcefully when you are heading the wrong way. The truth is, love does not always shout to be heard. Sometimes I speak softly because I want your trust, not just a quick reaction out of fear. I want your heart to recognize my voice on its own, not just respond because pressure forced you to. And right now, more than anything, I want you to understand the love behind this warning. I am not trying to control your life. I am trying to protect everything that has taken so long to rebuild inside you. You have come further than you give yourself credit for. You have healed in places you once thought would stay broken forever. You have grown wiser, even if you still doubt yourself sometimes. You have learned things through pain that comfort alone could never have taught you. But because you have walked through so much already, there is also a quiet temptation rising in you to believe you can handle more than you really should. You have started to confuse the ability to endure something with permission to keep it in your life. You have started telling yourself that if something didn't destroy you completely, maybe it's okay to stay near it. That is not the way I want you to measure your life. I do not want you deciding what belongs in your life based on whether or not it can kill you. I want you deciding based on whether it brings you closer to peace, closer to truth, and closer to becoming the person I created you to be. Some things don't destroy your life all at once. Some things slowly dim the light inside you, little by little, day by day, until you barely notice how dark it has gotten. Some choices don't blow your whole life apart in a single day. Instead, they quietly drain your clarity over months and years. Some people don't attack you in obvious, dramatic ways. They simply keep you tangled up in confusion, guilt, longing, and instability, until one day you realize you can't even remember what real peace used to feel like before they came into your life. That is exactly why I am speaking to you now. I see the quiet danger you may be missing. I see what you are underestimating, because it doesn't look scary on the surface. I see the story you are telling yourself, just to make a painful thing feel manageable again. I see how close you are to forgiving and excusing something that once hurt you badly, simply because part of you is tired. Tired of fighting. Tired of waiting. Tired of standing in that uncomfortable space between what is easy and what is right. My child, I know that tiredness very well. I have stayed beside you through every hour of it. I have watched you reach the end of your strength and still try to stand tall. I have watched you pray even while doubting, obey even while grieving, and keep walking forward, even while carrying questions you couldn't answer yet. I am not asking you to be perfect today. I am asking you to be honest with yourself and with me. Be honest about what has been disturbing your spirit lately. Be honest about what keeps pulling you back, even though it never truly gave you real peace. Be honest about the fact that something deep inside you already knows this warning is meant for you specifically. That is why these words feel heavier than a simple piece of advice. That is why your heart paused the moment you read this. That is why you know, somewhere inside, that this is not something to just skim past quickly. I am reaching out to you personally, because your future matters to me, and because danger rarely shows up wearing something obviously scary or dark. It often comes dressed up as urgency, as nostalgia for the past, as attention you've been craving, as false comfort, as emotional relief, or as the convincing promise that this time things will somehow be different. I know how believable that can sound when you are lonely, disappointed, or simply worn out from life. But I also know what comes after that moment fades away. I know the silence that follows. I know the heaviness that returns once the excitement wears off. I know the regret that settles in once you realize your spirit was trying to warn you long before your mind finally agreed to listen. I do not want that painful cycle to keep repeating in your life over and over again. I do not want you apologizing to yourself for something you already sensed was wrong from the very beginning. I do not want you rebuilding your peace again and again simply because you keep opening the same door to the same thing I already showed you was never meant to stay in your life. So hear me now with the gentleness I truly mean. Step back for a moment. Take a deep breath. Stop calling this warning harsh when really it is love in disguise. Stop assuming that discomfort always means I am far away from you. Sometimes discomfort is exactly how I keep you close to safety. Like a hand gently pulling you back from the edge. I am not taking something precious away from you. I am protecting something precious that is still growing inside you. I am guarding your heart, your mind, your purpose, your peace, and the new version of you that is finally learning to stand on its own, without leaning on the very things that once kept you trapped. Trust me enough to pause before you act. Trust me enough to admit that this uneasy feeling inside you is not random at all. Trust me enough to believe that I would rather make you uncomfortable for a moment than watch your soul suffer for an entire season of your life. This warning is not a threat against you. It is my hand resting gently on your shoulder before you walk too far ahead. It is my voice reaching you before an old wound has the chance to reopen. It is my love refusing to stay quiet while you are still close enough to turn around and choose a different path. Now, my child, I want you to become more careful about which voices you allow close to your heart, because not every voice that calms your emotions is actually helping your soul grow. You are living through a season filled with many different voices speaking around you. Some of them sound gentle. Some sound convincing. Some sound flattering. Some sound soothing and warm, so warm that you feel tempted to trust them simply because they make the moment feel a little easier to bear. But I need you to understand something clearly, something deeper than just your feelings in the moment. Comfort and truth are not always the same thing. A voice can feel soft and gentle and still lead you towards something hard and harmful. A voice can feel warm and still carry something poisonous underneath. A voice can sound like understanding while quietly steering you away from real wisdom. That is why I am asking you to look beyond how words make you feel right now and pay attention instead to what those words produce in you afterward, once the moment has passed. Some voices help you rest in truth. Others simply help you avoid facing the truth altogether. Some voices bring real peace. Others just make it easier for you to tolerate compromise. Some voices comfort your pain in a healthy, healing way. Others quietly put your good sense to sleep, so you stop resisting things that should never have been welcomed into your life in the first place. Every video is created with prayer, time, and dedication to reach those who may be searching for encouragement and faith. By supporting this ministry through PayPal, you help keep this mission growing and touching more lives each day. God bless you abundantly. My child, listen closely now. I know how hungry your heart has been for reassurance. I know how badly you have wanted someone to truly understand your exhaustion, your loneliness, your confusion, your frustration, your disappointment, and the hidden ache you carry quietly. I know how soft and open you become when someone speaks gently into the parts of you that feel unseen by the world. That is not a weakness in you. That is simply part of being human. But because you are tender in those places, you must become more careful, not less. You must not let how sweet a voice sounds become the reason you stop checking where that voice is really coming from. You must not let emotional relief become your only measuring stick for whether something is good for you or not. A lie wrapped in kindness is still a lie underneath. A harmful invitation spoken in a soft, soothing tone is still harmful in the end. A person can make you feel deeply heard and still be leading you quietly away from what is good and holy for your life. That is why I am asking you to pay closer attention. Ask yourself, what happens in your heart after you listen to them? Do you feel clearer afterward, or more confused? Do you feel more steady and aligned, or more torn apart inside? Do you feel stronger in truth, or more willing to make excuses for things you already know are wrong? Do you feel drawn closer to prayer, or pulled further away from it? These are not small, unimportant details. These are signs. These are signals worth paying attention to. These small signs tell you whether a voice is truly helping you heal, or simply numbing your good judgment so it stops working properly. I want you to become more alert to this pattern. Notice how the enemy of your peace rarely attacks you through obvious cruelty. Instead, he often works through tempting permission, offering you exactly what your tired heart wants to hear. Right at the moment your spirit feels too weak to resist, he will send voices that make compromise sound like compassion. He will dress disobedience up in the language of self-care. He will make emotional indulgence sound like true freedom. He will turn your old wounds into convenient excuses. He will wrap dangerous choices in comforting words, so your guard comes down simply because the message feels gentle and kind on the surface. That is why I am speaking to you now. I want you to stop being impressed by how something sounds and start paying closer attention to what it actually produces in your life. A voice can sound calm and still be crooked underneath. A voice can sound caring and still be careless with your soul. A voice can make you feel validated in the moment while quietly leading you toward places that will eventually cost you your peace. So pause right now. Stop handing your heart over to every soft-sounding word you hear. Stop assuming that just because someone sounds understanding, they must be speaking from real wisdom. Bring every voice you hear to me first. Hold every word up to my light before you accept it. Ask me what spirit is really behind that comfort. Ask me whether the peace being offered to you is real peace, or simply a soft pillow laid gently over your conscience to quiet it down. Ask me whether the words being spoken to you make you stronger in your faith, or simply weaker in your boundaries. I am not telling you to become suspicious of every single person around you. I am telling you to become wiser about what you allow to shape your heart and mind. There is a real difference between the two, and in this season of your life, that difference could save you from pain that sounds pleasant in the beginning, but leaves your soul broken into pieces later on. You must understand that your heart becomes easily influenced when it is hurting. That is nothing to be ashamed of, but it is something you must learn to guard carefully. When you are carrying pain, rejection, uncertainty, or deep tiredness, you become much more vulnerable to voices that offer comfort without ever asking you to grow or change. That is exactly where danger often hides, because truth sometimes asks you to surrender something, to wait patiently, to admit you were wrong, to heal slowly, to let something go, to be fully honest, and to finally face what you have been avoiding for so long. But false comfort usually tells you the opposite. It tells you to indulge yourself, to make excuses, to rush ahead, to reopen old wounds, to soften boundaries you worked hard to build, to trust your feelings without ever questioning them, and to call avoidance healing, when it is really just hiding. That is why I want you to test every voice by asking what it does to your spirit. Does it lead you toward greater honesty, or does it help you hide even more? Does it make you feel more peaceful, or simply more numb? Does it give you courage to obey what you already know is right, or does it give you a clever excuse to delay it a little longer? My child, I need you to stop being moved simply because something sounds beautiful, if it leaves you spiritually weaker afterward. That person who always seems to know exactly what comforting words to say may not actually be safe for your future. That inner voice in your own mind that keeps whispering, "It's fine. It's not that serious. You deserve this. You can handle it. You can just go back one more time," may not be your own wisdom speaking at all. That kind of content, that kind of influence, that kind of advice, that kind of conversation that always makes you feel instantly relieved, but slowly leaves you less anchored in me, deserves your full attention. Do not ignore that pattern when you notice it. Step back from it. Turn the volume down on it. Refuse to let yourself be shaped by voices that make your soul feel fuzzy and unclear, while your body or emotions feel temporarily satisfied. Come closer to me instead. Sit with me in the quiet, where truth may not flatter you right away, but it will eventually set you free. Let me retrain your ears to recognize the difference. Let me teach you how my voice truly feels inside your spirit. My voice may gently correct you, but it will never crush you. My voice may challenge you, but it will never manipulate you. My voice may ask you to release something you want, but it always gives you the grace and strength to actually do it. My voice may disturb what is false in your life, but it will always settle what is real and true. Learn this difference well. Treasure it deeply, because the more clearly you recognize it, the less likely you are to be pulled in by something that only sounds soft and confusing on the surface. I want you to practice something starting now, and I want you to carry this habit with you long after today. Whenever a voice comforts you, do not trust it immediately. Test it first. Ask yourself, what does this lead me toward? Ask, does this make me more faithful, or just more comfortable for the moment? Ask, would I still be okay receiving this if I had to sit honestly with God right afterward? Ask, does this help me face the truth, or does it help me run away from it? These simple questions will become a shield for you. They will reveal far more than tone of voice ever could. I want you to remember this with deep and steady certainty in your heart. Truth can be tender without ever becoming weak, and love can be gentle without ever becoming careless or permissive. I am not calling you into a harsh, joyless life. I am calling you into a holy, peaceful one. I am not asking you to reject all comfort. I am asking you to stop confusing comfort with truth, because they are not always the same thing. Come to me for the kind of comfort that actually heals instead of just hiding the wound. Come to me for words that settle your spirit and also strengthen your backbone. Come to me for advice that doesn't just make you feel a little better for a moment, but actually leads you toward lasting freedom. Close the door on voices that gently lead you into compromise. Walk away from words that make darkness seem reasonable and acceptable. Refuse advice that weakens your obedience while flattering your emotions at the same time. Then draw closer to me. Stay near enough to learn the sound of my voice. Stay quiet enough to recognize what real peace feels like. Let my voice become so familiar to you that even the most charming, convincing imitation of truth cannot fool you for long. That is how I will protect you. That is how you will learn to walk safely through life. And that is how you will come to understand that not every comforting voice carries truth inside it, but mine always will, every single time. Dear child, this ministry exists to bring encouragement, prayer, and God's truth to every heart that needs it. You can stand with us through PayPal links in the description and pinned comment. May God bless you abundantly for your love and support. My child, as you continue learning to tell apart the voices shaping your soul, I am also calling you to help share my voice with others. There are many people out there, still surrounded by comforting lies, still searching quietly for the kind of truth that actually heals. If you feel moved to support this work, through a small gift, a membership, or any way you are able to give, know that it helps carry this same message of truth and clarity to other hearts who need it too. Your support is not just a donation. It is a way of helping someone else find the same peace you are finding right now. If you feel led to give, you can do so in whatever way feels right for you, with a willing and joyful heart, never out of pressure or guilt. And while we are speaking of support, I also want to gently remind you, if this message is reaching your heart, please consider subscribing to this channel and sharing it with someone who might need to hear it too. Sometimes the very person sitting beside you, struggling quietly, is waiting for exactly these words. Your simple click, your simple share, could become someone else's turning point. Now, my child, I want you to listen to me with extra care, because this next truth can be hard for a soft and tender heart to accept. Not every person who disturbs your peace is a bad person. Not every person who pulls you backward is acting out of evil intentions. Not every person who weakens your good judgment is being openly harmful on purpose. Some people around you are not cruel, not dark, not dangerous in any obvious way, and yet they still may not be safe for the place I am taking you next in your life. That is the part I really need you to understand clearly. You have often made the mistake of believing that unless someone is openly hurting you, you are required to keep them close. You have believed that unless they betray you in a big, dramatic way, lie to you clearly, or attack you directly, then you should keep giving them access to your life. Keep making room for them. Keep excusing that uneasy feeling in your gut. Keep trying to make things work no matter what. But my child, I am asking you now to grow beyond that kind of thinking. Safety is not only about whether someone has good intentions toward you. Safety is also about what their presence actually produces inside you over time. I need you to stop measuring your relationships only by people's intentions, and start measuring them by their fruit, by what actually grows in your life because of them. Some people may truly mean well and still keep you emotionally tangled up in old patterns. Some may care about you in their own limited way and still keep you anchored to an old, smaller version of yourself. Some may not intend to hurt you at all and still leave you feeling clouded, confused, distracted, delayed, drained, or pulled in different directions inside. This matters far more than you have allowed yourself to admit, because where I am leading you next requires a different kind of peace, a different kind of discipline, a different kind of clarity, and a different kind of inner steadiness than some people around you know how to honor or protect. This does not mean these people are bad or evil. It simply means their presence belongs to an earlier chapter of your story, not the one I am writing for you now. You must learn how to release people from your life without needing to see them as villains first. You must learn how to quietly step back without waiting for some big, dramatic event to justify the distance you need. You must learn to recognize that just because someone shares history with you, that does not automatically mean they deserve a place in your future. Sit with that truth for a moment. Let it sink in slowly. I know how your heart works. You tend to hold on to people far longer than you probably should. You see their pain. You understand their struggles. You remember the good moments you once shared. You feel compassion for whatever shaped them into who they are. And because of all that, you often leave the door open far longer than wisdom would actually advise. Compassion is a beautiful thing, but compassion without wisdom can become very costly to your own heart and life. You were never created to be endlessly available to every single person who knows how to pull on your empathy. You are not required to drag every old relationship into your future simply because it once mattered deeply to you in the past. I want you to honestly ask yourself, what happens to your spirit after spending time with this person? What happens to your focus afterward? What happens to your boundaries? What happens to your peace? What happens to your time spent in prayer? What happens to your self-respect? What happens to your courage to do what you know is right? Do you feel steadier, stronger, cleaner, and clearer afterward? Or do you feel pulled back into old patterns, old compromises, old emotional confusion, old versions of yourself that you have been working so hard to outgrow? Answer that question honestly. Do not answer out of guilt. Do not answer out of loyalty to your shared past. Do not answer out of fear of being misunderstood by them or by others. Answer from a place of truth. Because some people do not need to destroy your entire life in order to disrupt your purpose. They only need enough access to keep you slightly off balance emotionally. And often, that is all it takes. A little distraction here. A little draining of your energy there. A little confusion. A little old familiar chemistry resurfacing. A little familiar pressure returning. A little quiet pull away from the sharp, clear thinking you have worked so hard to build. That is why I am speaking to you about this now. I am not telling you to become cold-hearted toward anyone. I am telling you to become clear-headed instead. I am not asking you to hate anyone at all. I am asking you to stop mistaking emotional attachment for something I have actually assigned to your life. Some people are not evil people, but they are simply not safe companions for where I am taking you next. And if you do not accept this truth now, you will keep trying to drag old influences into new chapters of your life. And you will keep wondering why your peace keeps leaking away before the good things I have promised you can fully form. There is a holy difference between loving someone from a distance and allowing them to shake up your entire inner world. I need you to learn that difference clearly, starting today. You can still pray for someone and also step back from them at the same time. You can forgive someone fully and still limit how much access they have to your daily life. You can bless someone in your heart and still refuse to keep giving them a front row seat to your mind, your emotions, your time, your vulnerable moments, and your forward momentum in life. My child, listen closely now. Your attention is sacred. Your emotional energy is sacred. The atmosphere around your heart is sacred. Stop giving these things away as though they cost you nothing at all. Stop letting guilt control boundaries that I am actively trying to help you build. Stop reopening space in your life for people who repeatedly make your spirit work harder just to stay steady and aligned. Come closer, and let me speak even more plainly to you now. There are people who keep you stuck in your old habits, your old wounds, your old excuses, and your old repeating cycles. They may laugh with you. They may comfort you in ways that feel familiar and easy. They may know your history better than almost anyone else. They may even truly and sincerely care about you in their own way. But if every single time you spend with them leaves you feeling less anchored in who I am shaping you to become, then their influence is simply not safe for you during this particular season of your life. This does not require a big, dramatic goodbye scene. It does not require bitterness or anger. It does not require accusations or blame. Sometimes wisdom looks quiet on the outside. Sometimes obedience simply looks like reduced contact. Sometimes holiness looks like not replying the same way as before, not sharing the same depth of conversation, not lingering as long in certain talks, not returning to the same emotional spaces where your growth keeps shrinking down just to fit old, familiar patterns. I want you to be brave enough to do this hard, but necessary thing. Step back. Keep close only the relationships that genuinely strengthen your peace. Refuse to keep feeding connections that quietly starve your spirit instead of nourishing it. Pray before you respond to people. Pause before you fully engage. Notice who leaves your mind feeling noisy and unsettled after you part ways. Notice who makes you feel like you constantly have to defend your own boundaries, even to yourself. Notice who makes you feel like you need to shrink yourself down, become softer in unhealthy ways, more compromising, less truthful, less disciplined, less whole as a person. That kind of noticing is valuable information, not pettiness on your part. That is discernment at work, and I want you to stop arguing against your own discernment simply because a person doesn't seem bad enough in your eyes to justify some distance. You do not need solid proof that someone is evil in order to honor your own peace. You do not need a major betrayal before you are allowed to set a healthy boundary. You do not need a visible disaster to happen before you are permitted to quietly say, "This particular influence is not good for my soul right now." Say that to yourself if you need to, without shame attached to it. Then act on it with courage. My child, I have places ahead that I want to take you, and they require a cleaner emotional and spiritual atmosphere than some people currently in your life know how to offer or protect. I have conversations ahead of you that require a clear mind. I have assignments ahead that require your energy to be carefully guarded. I have relationships ahead of you that require you to stop carrying old emotional baggage into every new room you enter. And if I am gently reducing certain connections in your life right now, it is not because I want you to feel isolated and alone. It is because I want you to feel undivided and whole. That is an important difference for you to learn to trust completely. Let some people stay loved, simply from a comfortable distance. Let some voices in your life naturally become quieter over time. Let certain connections fade away without needing a big ceremony around it. Let some old bonds loosen gently without any guilt attached to the process. Please do not fight against me when I begin gently rearranging who has close access to your life and heart. Do not chase after what I am quietly moving toward the edges of your life. Do not try to force closeness in places where I am clearly inviting more space instead. Come closer to me in those moments instead. Let me become the loudest, clearest, and most trusted voice in your life. Let me become the nearest presence and the strongest influence shaping you. Let me fill the empty space that old connections used to occupy in your heart. Let me show you what real, lasting peace feels like when it isn't constantly being negotiated or fought for. And please hear this clearly before you move forward from this message. If someone keeps pulling you backward into confusion, compromise, chaos, or a smaller, weaker version of yourself, then their basic goodness as a person does not automatically cancel out the fact that they are simply not suited for where your life is heading next. You can still care about them deeply. You can still bless them in your heart. You can still pray earnestly for their well-being. But you must stop pretending they are safe for the next chapter of your journey, if their fruit in your life clearly says otherwise. Protect your inner atmosphere carefully. Guard the gates of your heart wisely. Honor the shift happening in your life right now, and keep walking forward steadily with me at your side, because where I am leading you simply requires a kind of space that some familiar, meaning people do not know how to honor properly yet. If these messages have brought peace to your heart, strengthened your faith, or reminded you of God's love, please consider supporting this ministry through PayPal links below. Together, we can continue sharing hope and God's word with countless souls around the world. My child, now I want to gently turn your attention to something else, just as important. So much of what hurts you in life comes not from clear, obvious danger, but from urgency disguised as truth. I want you to slow down right now and bring your racing heart back into stillness, because the pressure you may be feeling in certain moments of your life is often louder and more demanding than it truly needs to be. And understanding this will protect you deeply in this season. Not every feeling of urgency comes from me. Not every sense of rushing is holy or necessary. Not every intense emotion you feel means it is suddenly time to act right away. Not every tight feeling in your chest is a divine sign telling you to move immediately. You have been in moments before where something felt extremely urgent, where the emotional pull felt incredibly strong, where the opportunity seemed to be slipping away fast, where another person demanded a quick answer from you, where the decision felt like it absolutely had to happen right now, where your mind started racing uncontrollably and your body felt tense, and your thoughts began tumbling over each other in a hurry. And in those overwhelming moments, simply because the feeling was so intense, you assumed it had to be important. Sometimes you even assumed that intense feeling must be coming from me. But I need you to learn the real difference between a holy nudge and unhealthy emotional pressure. Yes, I do move in your life. Yes, I do lead you at times. Yes, I do call you toward obedience in moments that truly matter. But I never drive my children forward using panic. I never manipulate you using chaos. I never corner you into decisions that bypass your inner peace completely. I never demand instant surrender to something that only becomes convincing once you are too overwhelmed to think clearly anymore. That is simply not how I work. My voice can absolutely be firm sometimes. My guidance can be direct and clear. My warnings can carry real urgency when needed. But even within that urgency, my presence always carries a sense of clarity alongside it. Even when I tell you to move forward, there remains a deep settledness underneath that instruction. Even when I ask you to let something go, there is a clean, peaceful conviction behind it, never a frantic, chaotic storm of emotions. Even when I redirect your path quickly, a steady calm remains in your spirit, as long as you stay close to me throughout the process. What you may be feeling right now, however, might not carry that same peaceful quality. It might feel instead like pressure to respond before you've had time to pray about it properly. It might feel like pressure to commit to something before you fully understand it. It might feel like pressure to go back to someone or something before you've had a real chance to reflect carefully. It might feel like pressure to speak quickly before your heart has settled. It might feel like an urgent pull to rescue someone, chase after something, explain yourself, fix a situation, respond immediately, reopen an old door, hold on tightly, prove your worth, or secure something quickly, with no room to breathe. My child, please be careful here. This kind of intense pressure is often exactly how confusion sneaks into your life. It is often how old wounds get reopened and reactivated. It is often how simple fear takes control of the wheel, while disguising itself as wise discernment. I want you to stop automatically treating urgency as if it were a sign from heaven, just because the feeling itself is intense and overwhelming. Intensity is not the same thing as clear instruction. Pressure is not the same thing as true purpose. A racing heart is not automatically a message from God. Sit with that truth for a moment and let it sober you a little. The enemy of your peace knows that if he can make you feel rushed and panicked, he can often convince you to act before real wisdom has time to speak up inside you. He knows that if he can fill your inner world with enough emotional noise, you might say yes to something that your calm, rested spirit would normally never agree to touch. He knows that if he can make a particular moment feel like a now or never situation, you might completely stop asking yourself whether the answer should even be yes in the first place. That is exactly why I am telling you to pause. Stop. Take a deep breath. Step back from the situation for a moment. Do not give your answer yet. Do not commit to anything yet. Do not try to explain yourself yet. Do not chase after anything yet. Do not assume anything yet. Come to me first with whatever feels urgent. Let me test it honestly. Let me tell you clearly whether it is truly my leading or simply pressure wearing a clever spiritual disguise. I know you do not want to miss an important moment from me. I know you fear that pausing might mean missing my true will for your life if I really am speaking to you. But hear me clearly on this point. You are far more likely to miss my voice by rushing forward out of fear than you ever are by pausing quietly in honest prayer. I am not so fragile that a brief moment of honest stillness on your part will cause you to lose my will entirely. If something is truly meant to come from me, it will be able to survive your honest prayer about it. It will be able to withstand your pause. It will still remain clear and true, even after your nervous system has calmed down completely. It will still feel right even after the initial emotional storm has fully passed through you. But if the only thing making a situation feel so compelling and urgent is the pressure itself, then you need to be very careful and cautious about it. That intense pressure may not actually be my hand guiding you at all. It might simply be anxiety, manipulation, your own flesh acting up, or even an attempt by the enemy of your peace to build momentum before truth has the chance to catch up with you fully. So slow down, my child. Slow your breathing right down. Slow your racing thoughts down. Slow your urgent need to decide things immediately. Let my peace have enough room and time to speak clearly before panic gets the chance to sign agreements on your behalf that your spirit will deeply regret later on. There is a holy, steady rhythm to how I lead my children through life, and I want you to become far more familiar with that calm rhythm than you currently are with the frantic, chaotic rhythms of fear and panic. My leading may sometimes call you toward bold, courageous action, but it will never leave you feeling spiritually scattered and confused afterward. My instructions may sometimes require real courage from you, but they will never ask you to betray your own inner peace in order to obey them properly. My guidance may challenge you deeply at times, but it never depends on emotional chaos to win your cooperation or agreement. That is precisely why I want you to begin testing every feeling of urgency, not by how intensely strong it feels in the moment, but by what it actually does to your spirit afterward. Does this urgent feeling leave you more clear-headed or more confused and clouded? Does it leave you feeling more honest with yourself or more reactive and impulsive? Does it deepen your sense of peace, even if the step ahead feels genuinely difficult? Or does it create an internal storm inside you that only grows louder the more you imagine actually following through with it. These questions truly matter. Ask them sincerely. Use them regularly. Carry them with you into every decision where urgent pressure shows up, beating like a fast drum inside your chest. Because some of the most painful mistakes you have made throughout your life were not actually born from deep, willful rebellion against what is right. They were born instead from simple hurry. They were born from emotional haste and impatience. They were born from wanting quick relief, wanting fast resolution, wanting instant certainty, wanting immediate connection, wanting your discomfort to end as fast as possible, and moving forward too soon simply because the pressure of the moment felt absolutely unbearable to sit with any longer. My child, I am teaching you something important right now. Pressure itself can lie to you. It can shout loudly and convincingly, but it can still be lying the entire time. It can feel incredibly powerful and real, but it can still be completely false underneath. So please, do not bow down to the sheer loudness of any given moment. Instead, bring that moment quietly under my voice and my authority. Say to yourself gently, if this truly is from God, it will still feel true and right even after I have prayed honestly about it. Hold firmly on to that simple truth. Let it become a faithful gatekeeper, guarding your decisions in life, and practice using it regularly. When an urgent message arrives, and your chest suddenly feels tight, pause first. When an exciting opportunity appears and your thoughts immediately start racing with excitement or fear, step back calmly. When another person demands an immediate answer from you, and your spirit feels pushed into a corner, allow yourself to delay your response a little. When the fear of losing something good starts making you feel frantic and desperate, gently release your tight grip on the situation and come sit quietly with me instead. I want you to grow comfortable and familiar with this peaceful posture in life. Stillness before taking action. Honest prayer before giving agreement. Inner peace before making any firm commitment. This is not laziness or passivity on your part at all. This is real wisdom in action. This is genuine inner strength. This is how you finally stop being blown around and driven by every single gust of urgency that sweeps across your emotions from time to time. And let me say something now that I truly want to sink deep into your heart and stay there permanently. Anything that genuinely belongs to you, anything that I have truly ordained for your life, will never need panic in order to be preserved or protected. What I have prepared for you does not require frantic scrambling on your part just to keep it alive and intact. What I have planned for your life can easily withstand your honest obedience, your sincere prayer, your thoughtful pause, your complete honesty, and your settled peace throughout the process. If something falls apart simply because you took the time to seek my guidance first, then let it go without regret. If someone pulls away from you simply because you refuse to answer them in a rushed panic, then let them go peacefully. If a particular opportunity disappears simply because you refuse to betray your own good judgment and discernment, then let it go willingly. It is always far better to lose something that only thrives under constant pressure than to keep something that requires you to abandon your own inner peace completely. That is a difficult truth to accept, I know, but it is also a deeply freeing and liberating one for your life. So receive this instruction from me now as a protective shield over your heart. Do not let urgency become the shepherd guiding your important life decisions. Do not let pressure make promises to you that only truth has the real authority to make. Do not let intense emotion decide matters that only solid truth should ever be allowed to govern in your life. Come close to me instead whenever you feel that familiar rush of pressure rising up inside you. Sit quietly with me in that uncomfortable, urgent moment. Let your body slowly settle down, Let your spirit take a deep, calming breath. Simply ask me honestly, Father, is this truly coming from you, or is this just pressure trying to disguise itself as your voice? And then patiently listen for my answer. I will gently show you the truth. I will expose whatever is false and misleading. I will help reveal clearly whatever is genuinely true and trustworthy. I will personally teach you how to recognize the real difference between holy, peaceful momentum and harmful, reckless haste in your decision-making. And once you fully learn this important difference, you will stop losing your hard, won peace at the constant altar of feeling rushed and pressured. You will stop mistaking simple panic for genuine purpose in your life. You will stop automatically calling every loud, intense moment divine, just because it feels overwhelming in the moment. My child, please be very careful with whatever urgency you are feeling right now in your life. Remember clearly, if a feeling of urgency truly comes from me, it will carry deep peace underneath all that weight and intensity. And if it does not come from me, the more you slow yourself down and sit honestly with me about it, the more clearly you will watch that false urgency completely unravel and lose its grip on you. So please, do not run impulsively. Do not rush carelessly. Do not simply react out of fear. Instead, come to me first every single time and let my steady, truthful voice become louder and clearer in your heart than any pressure that is desperately trying to push you towards something that was never truly meant to be part of your life. Every video is created with prayer, time, and dedication to reach those who may be searching for encouragement and faith. By supporting this ministry through PayPal, you help keep this mission growing and touching more lives each day. God bless you abundantly. Now, my child, I want you to become very still with me once again, because right now you are standing in one of those truly sacred moments where your emotions are only measuring the immediate pain of obedience, but they have not yet fully measured the much deeper, longer, lasting pain that disobedience would eventually leave behind in your life. That is exactly why this current moment feels so difficult for you right now. That is exactly why the act of surrendering something feels so sharp and painful at this very moment. That is exactly why your heart keeps hesitating, right at the edge of finally letting go completely. You can clearly feel what obedience will cost you today. Right in this very moment, you can feel the immediate sting and ache of letting something go that you've held onto for so long. You can feel the heavy silence that might follow afterward. You can sense the empty space that may appear where something familiar and comforting once stood firmly in your life. You can feel the discomfort of stepping back from someone or something. You can feel the grief of properly ending something that meant a great deal to you. You can feel the sting of choosing not to reply the way you normally would. You can feel the ache of finally closing a door for good. You can feel the humbling realization that what you personally wanted is simply not what I am choosing to bless in your life right now. That pain you are feeling is completely real, and I am not minimizing it in any way at all. I am not asking you to pretend that it doesn't genuinely hurt deep inside. I know exactly how tender and raw that particular cost feels to your heart in this moment. I know how much of yourself became deeply entangled in it. I know how much hope you had quietly attached to it. I know how much emotional meaning got carefully wrapped around the very thing I am now lovingly asking you to release completely. But please hear me now, with both great tenderness and firm clarity at the very same time. The pain that comes from obedience is usually immediate and sharp, but the pain that comes from disobedience tends to linger and spread out over a much longer time. The cost of true surrender may cut deeply just once, cleanly, but the cost of continued resistance often keeps cutting you again and again in layers, returning through painful replays, through lingering regret, through ongoing confusion, through heavy spiritual exhaustion, through continued emotional entanglement, through the draining, exhausting work of trying to recover what never needed to be broken again in the first place. My child, I need you to stop comparing these two very different kinds of pain, using only what you can feel right now, in this single hour. Yes, you can feel the sharpness of obedience right now, because it is happening right in front of you, immediate and close. But you are not yet feeling the full weight of what disobedience would eventually create in your life, because that particular pain unfolds slowly over time, hidden from immediate view. It quietly hides itself in tomorrow's struggles. It hides in the difficult weeks that follow after any compromise. It hides inside an attachment that keeps growing stronger over time. It hides in a creeping spiritual dullness that slowly settles over your heart. It hides in the lonely nights spent replaying the exact moment you already knew the truth deep down and still chose to move forward anyway. It hides in the heavy grief of eventually realizing you traded a single clean, honest pain for a far more complicated and tangled one instead. I genuinely do not want that painful outcome for your life, my child. I want you to consciously choose the clean pain over the complicated one. I want you to choose the honest, straightforward ache over the messy, confusing entanglement. I want you to choose the difficult but necessary boundary over the easy but harmful compromise. I want you to choose the surrendered silence over the noisy chaos of resistance. I want you to choose to keep that door firmly closed, rather than reopening it again and again. I want you to choose the empty space that naturally follows true obedience, and the honest tears that come from properly letting something go, rather than the painful tears that come later from having to relearn the very same lesson you already clearly knew the first time around. This is not cruelty on my part at all, my child. This is genuine mercy in action. This is how you begin to truly honor your own future peace more than your present, fleeting craving for relief. And I want you to notice something deeply important here. The pain of true obedience usually begins quite intensely, but then it gradually starts to heal and fade with time. The pain of continued disobedience, however, often begins subtly and quietly, but then it steadily starts to spread and grow worse over time if left unaddressed. This important difference truly matters in every area of your life. It matters deeply in your relationships. It matters in your daily habits. It matters in your private thoughts. It matters in your emotional attachments. It matters in every decision you make going forward. If you choose to let go right now, you may certainly cry over it. You may grieve deeply for a while. You may feel the sharp ache of something important now being absent from your life. You may feel the difficult withdrawal symptoms of losing something that once soothed and comforted you, even if it wasn't truly good for you. You may feel the heavy discomfort of suddenly sitting in a quieter, emptier room than before. But then, gradually, the air around you slowly begins to clear up. Then your mind slowly begins to settle down properly. Then your prayer life slowly begins to breathe freely again, without obstruction. Then your spirit slowly begins to feel whole again, rather than constantly divided. Then your inner strength slowly begins to return to you. Then, the very thing that once felt absolutely impossible to release begins to look smaller and more manageable in the gentle light of true peace. That is precisely how genuine obedience heals you over time. But if you instead choose to disobey right now, often the exact opposite painful pattern begins to slowly unfold in your life. The discomfort doesn't fade away with time, it quietly grows. The confusion doesn't clear up naturally, it deepens further. The attachment doesn't loosen its grip gradually, it tightens its hold even more firmly. And little by little, without you even fully realizing it is happening, your peace keeps slipping further and further away from your grasp. So, my child, here is my final, loving word to you in this part of our conversation today. When you feel that familiar, painful tension rising inside your heart, asking you to choose between what feels easy right now and what is genuinely right for your future, please remember clearly what I have shared with you. The discomfort of obedience always heals over time, while the comfort found in disobedience quietly decays over time instead. Choose the path that may sting sharply today, but leads you steadily toward lasting freedom tomorrow. I am right here beside you in this difficult moment, gently holding your hand through it, patiently helping you choose well, lovingly walking you safely all the way home into the deep, settled peace I have always wanted for your life, my precious child.